Hello, all you ghosts and ghoulies. David here, and I am coming to you to discuss a very grave matter. We have a listener survey that is open all month long here in May, and we want to hear from you. During the month of May, the Glitterjaw Podcast Collective is seeking your feedback about the shows that we create, our collective as a whole, and your podcast listening habits. You can head over to bit.ly/Glitterjaw Pod Survey to share your feedback. Or, of course, that link is in the show notes. At the end of the survey, you'll also have the option to share your email address for a chance to win a $50 gift card courtesy of the collective. Thanks for listening, and back to the episode.
A podcast where we talk about media from the horror genre and take a queer reading of a single book, video game, film, podcast, or TV show to explore just how queer horror can be. All month long, we have been in touch with the great beyond, as we have spent time with ghosts. And now we take the reign of the spectral beyond ourselves as we discuss the puzzle strategy game, Ghostmaster. I'm Marilee.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm David.
And we want to thank all the bats in our belfry for being a part of our amazing community by supporting our fear-coded Patreon. So thank you to Will, Knight of Cups, Blake, Puckish Rogue, Tyler, Ryan, John, Doug, Jacob, Alyssa, and Maureen. Now, before we deploy apparitions to horrify sorority girls, I want to check in with my co-hosts to see just how things are going for them in a landscape of horrors that our real world has to offer. What's making you all feel scared, or what is making you feel prepared?
Gain, I am scared today.
I'm so excited to go because I'm scared. Tyler, why?
I keep on finding tabletop RPGs that I really want to play, but it's just not practical to do it. I have like a backlog, like a Steam-esque backlog of RPGs that I want to play, but they require so much more time, investment. There's people involved that you have to get to play. It's simply too much. You got to coordinate schedules. You basically have to block off like 4 hours. And who has the time? Who has the time? I ask you.
Who has the time? And a lot of these, like, there's so much that we can do in this new world of virtual connection. But I assume most of these have to happen with some like meat space involved, right?
I mean, it doesn't have to be these days so much anymore. You could play a lot of them entirely virtually, but
that's cool.
And I did that during the pandemic, and I think I fell into this pattern of like, well, I can always just play it online with my friends online who I play tabletop games with, which is wonderful, don't get me wrong. But there's really nothing like playing in person with people.
Yeah.
And I'm getting some of that with a D&D game that I really enjoy playing. Hi, Nathan. But this is also something that I really want to just, I wish I had like a polyamorous group right now that I could like manifest. So I could just be like, hey, Polycule, how about we play another game? And then they'll all be like, yes, Tyler, yes. Let us all play this thing together because we are all emotionally invested in each other. And anyway, there's a new game called Stone Top that I heard about. It's like a fantasy RPG set in like the Iron Age. And it's kind of like, what if D&D was less about like going out and killing stuff and instead was more about like, I have a Stardew Valley-esque village that I need to rebuild with all of the people that live here. And my group is creating all of the people and this entire village together.
Wow.
And the adventuring comes from what do we need in this village? Okay, let's go out into the world to get it, interact with other people. This is literally like a tome of an RPG. It's like 1,200 pages long, like in 2 giant books. But really, that's actually like less than what the 3 books of Dungeons and Dragons require you to have for a fraction of the cost. So it's really not that big of a deal if you think about it that way. I watched a really great video about it yesterday. I'm very invested emotionally now. I want to play a game where it's like my friends and I are trying to work together to build something and create a community. And as opposed to the D&D-esque adventure of let's go out, kill these goblins in a tomb that belongs to someone, to like a culture that doesn't exist anymore, and then reap the rewards of our power fantasy.
Right. Wow. And this is called Stone Top.
Stone Top, yeah.
Also a great name for a member of a polycule.
Yeah.
So true. This is my friend. This is Stone and this is Top.
Incredible. Tyler, we have to do this. We've got to find a way for you to express this joy. I love Stardew Valley SimCity or whatever this is. This sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really, really great. Do you have to also, are you like gods or something? Like,
No.
Is there a role to put on? Or are you literally just like playing a game to build a community?
It is like an RPG where you are basically creating everything together. So if you are a character that's playing like a cleric and like a cleric type character, so like a priest, and you are the one who's kind of establishing like, okay, we need a religion here, right? Or maybe we don't need a religion, who knows? But let's say we have a religion. What is some of the religion about? And then that cleric player could be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this because, I'm jumping rope on Sunday mornings because God told me to do that. And then maybe your cleric goes out into the world and then they meet an NPC that's run by the game master. And the game master is playing a cleric and they're just like, hey, do you jump rope on Sunday mornings? Yeah, I do. And then like kind of together through play, you're creating the religion.
Wow. Also, keen listeners will recognize Tyler's religious trauma coming out and thinking, what would I have a character do to show their spirituality? Jump rope.
My trauma on full display.
My trauma response.
I think it would actually be really
do a whole month about it a year ago.
I'm not being perceived right now. I'm not being perceived. This would be fun to play at the Glitterjaw headquarters, so maybe we'll get together after the next all hands and play something. So yes, I am scared because there are too many games and not enough time to play them all in. David, how are you feeling today? Scared or prepared?
I come prepared. I engaged with a fun little piece of media this morning.
Ooh.
And that brought me a lot of joy. I think folks who know me know that our household are big Jeopardy fans.
Love it.
And so we fuck with all sorts of Jeopardy. Regular Jeopardy is streaming. You can watch the last 5 episodes on some streamer. I'm not sure which. And frankly, not being paid enough to name them. So step up, whoever you are.
Yeah, listen, we're available.
Yeah. I'm watching Celebrity Jeopardy, and that's always nice because you're so much smarter than they are. And it's so much easier to get answers correct when they're like, what does the H stand for in the periodic table of elements? Like a nice easy hit. But recently they did an episode. They called it with YouTube stars.
I watched it.
Question mark if I would call these YouTube stars. But it was Rebecca Black, Queen, Brennan Lee Mulligan, okay, Queen, and Monet Exchange, Queen. And so it was like Oops All Queens edition. And it was just really delightful. It was fun. It was very similar to Celebrity Jeopardy in that you would know most of the answers.
Incredible.
David, I'm so happy that you watched it. We watched it immediately when it showed up on our YouTube algorithm. It was so fun. And of course I knew Brennan Lee Mulligan was going to get like all of the questions right. But fun fact for any people who don't have a Dropout subscription, Brennan Lee Mulligan actually ran an Oops All Drag Queens campaign, 2 of them in fact, with Monet Exchange.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's really fun. He should next invite Rebecca Black.
He should make it the triumvirate.
Yeah.
I this came out like more than a month ago. I can't believe I missed it, except I can believe it because my YouTube algorithm is only Glitterjaw podcasts. For more information, go to glitterjaw.com and check out which of our podcasts are on YouTube.
Synergy.
No, I don't YouTube very much, which is why I was like, oh, I'm not going to enjoy YouTube Stars edition of Jeopardy. But then when I saw who was there, I was like, these aren't. I mean, I guess Rebecca Black is a YouTube star. I suppose.
Yeah, and Brennan Lee Mulligan was on College Humor, and I know all of his his old College Humor videos were on YouTube and did go viral before.
Yeah.
And Monet Exchange, she shows up on my YouTube feed a lot.
I mean, okay, cool.
She's doing a lot of interviews and then clips from Drag Race.
I just frankly expected not to recognize any persons from YouTube, so
that seems fair to me.
Feeling very happy. I
think they made the right choice in getting people who are like big on YouTube but aren't actually YouTubers.
Right. Like, but if they had brought the clavicle guy, I don't know who he is. I don't understand what his deal is, and I don't even know who you're
talking about.
A what?
Is the guy named after the collarbone? Clavicle?
Clavicle?
He was the one.
Yeah, like I know the bone, but like this is a YouTuber.
He was the one who invented looks maxing.
Ew.
He's like a toxic straight guy.
Oh, why would we know that?
So he's a Nazi.
He's a toxic man. Yeah. But sorry to break it to you, but that's like most of YouTube.
I don't watch a lot of YouTube because it's mostly Nazi.
So Tyler's got a good algorithm. I have a good algorithm because it's just my friends. But I think you got to be careful. on that YouTube.
You do. If you look up something on YouTube and you're trying your best to find the right thing,
yeah,
it's like plunging into the darkest jungles. Like it is.
Truly.
It's very risky. You better have a good machete on hand.
I did once have to go in and delete everything YouTube knew about me because all I would get suggested to me were behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings.
Incredible.
Which is fine, but I just to what end? I don't know why there was so many of them, and I don't know what I did to get them.
A preview of our upcoming Lord of the Rings podcast only on Glitterjaw.
To what end?
Can we call it To What End? That's great. Marilee, to what end for you? Are you feeling scared or prepared this week?
I am feeling prepared. I'm feeling really prepared. I'm a little scared, but mostly because I'm going to have a lot of fun. It's just I am actually playing D&D later today.
Wow.
With my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we normally play most of the times it's like on Sundays. But somebody's busy tomorrow, and so we were like, yeah, we could just do it on Saturday. And then I was like, oh no, this is great. I get to hang out with 3 of my favorite people and then 3 of my other favorite people all in one day.
Incredible.
I'll have an hour break in between, and that's definitely enough time to melt and be ready.
Marilee, I just like that the implication is that 3 of your favorite people, you are one of your favorite people, and I love that. As it should be.
Yeah, thank you.
Incredible.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. A little scared because we're in Menzo Baranzan, which is the big city in the Underdark. Mm-hmm. And everything could go so wrong so fast.
David is looking so puzzled when you said Menzo Baranzan. I don't think he could even spell it.
Here's the deal. I know the Underdark.
I can't either.
I know the Underdark from that Baldur's Gate 3 game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that was the part of the game I liked the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's possibly where I fell in love with Shadowheart, and I was like, marry me forever.
Because she's incredible.
Yeah.
I love my wife.
Yeah,
she's great.
Truly. Well,
anytime that actor is in a game now, it becomes a game of the year. So
really?
Yes,
yeah, Jennifer English, incredible. We love her.
Oh, I love that.
Baldur's Gate 3 was game of the year, and then she was also a major role in Expedition 33, which was also game of the year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And she, of course, hummed the theme of Balatro the year before.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
David gets it.
David gets it. Anyway, I'm just really excited for friend enrichment hours. So that's really excited for me.
That is excellent, Marilee. Now, this is a D&D campaign or group?
Yes, I know. It's boring, basic, standard D&D, except it's nice to know all of the rules. I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, I
don't think that's boring at all.
I love D&D. I hate D&D, but I also love D&D. I love D&D. Like the act of playing it with my friends, I really love. But then like trying to craft stuff out of D&D, it gives me a headache because it's like this is for the Tyler's Tabletop Hour, a new podcast coming to Glitterjaw.
To what end? Tyler's Tabletop Hour. 2 shows coming 2027.
I think the rules of D&D are not intended for the kinds of games that we all enjoy D&D for, and so we have to do a lot of heavy lifting. because it's originally a war game, and like you're kind of not playing D&D until you're in a fight, and then you are playing D&D, because then all the rules come in together. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at with that. But I have
That's
fun
totally
with D&D.
fair.
I love
Yeah,
playing
and like
D&D.
it's not like we're giving Wizards of the Coast any money with this. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always
Fuck those
forget.
guys.
I always forget that they're the ones who do the D&D thing.
Yeah. They're really, at the end of the day, it's just owned by, if you keep going up, it's owned by Hasbro. And that is, I think, where a lot of the problems come from.
Yeah, Hasbro, who refuses to acknowledge the Wizards of the Coast union that just formed as of the time of this recording, and hire a union busting firm to go after them.
Yeah, that sucks majorly. But you know what doesn't suck is the part of my polycule named Hasbro. It's just
Stone, Top, and
and
Hasbro.
Hasbro, of course, has a bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasbro.
Well, today we're not talking about our polycule. Today we are talking about a video game. It, in fact, is the result of our Patreon vote of which video game to cover featuring ghosts. And so to that end, we are discussing the 2003 puzzle strategy game Ghostmaster, developed by British studio Sick Puppies. The game consists of 15 scenarios where the player chooses ghosts to deploy to achieve stage objectives. Each level plays as a real-time strategy game where ghosts can use their powers against the mortals present in the level.
Each set of mortals have subconscious and conscious fears that can be exploited, but if the haunting becomes too obvious, mortals will summon challenges in the form of priests, witches, mediums, and the powerful ghost breakers, who can banish your ghostly apparitions.
In this year, 2026, a remastered version of the game, Ghostmaster Resurrection, was released for modern consoles and PC. Subsequently, 12 DLC levels were also added. In addition to the graphic updates, the remaster addressed the infamous difficulty balances of the original game. What is everyone's experience with Ghostmaster?
I had never heard of this until we put it on the Patreon vote. And boy, it was neck and neck with something else. I don't even remember what. I have no memory.
Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame. Oh my God, could you imagine? I would have screamed. So I'm glad this won. But I will one day play Fatal Frame, and I will be. I will have to like change my pants, I'm sure. I played Ghostmaster Resurrection. When I got to the end, it was like, oh, you have access to the DLC levels, and I was like, no, thank you. But I was very excited to know that there's like a whole nother half of a game that was included in the version that I bought, possibly, or got for free on PlayStation Plus. I'm not sure how this came to be.
I had to buy it on PlayStation Plus.
Okay. Well, then I bought this. So I'm happy.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm happy to support Strategy First Incorporated, and their whole business model is to go find old strategy games and make them available for modern consoles.
Incredible.
Incredible.
Well, I watched a YouTuber who makes videos about obscure games. One of the good YouTubers, I might add, thanks to my carefully cultivated algorithm.
Exactly. Tyler can never get off YouTube now because it's like perfect for him.
Exactly. It's Smosh and like old video games narrated by queer people normally.
Yes.
Incredible.
Or allies of actual for real allies of queer people. So this was a video game that he covered. He covered the original version, not the remaster, because I think the video is older than the remaster is. But I only watched it after the Patreon vote. I had seen it recommended a few times, and I was just like, that's a very ugly ghost. I don't want to watch that. And then suddenly our Patreon is just like, surprised. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch the video then. So that's really my only experience with this game before actually playing it. What about you, Marilee?
Well, this was my suggestion when we were talking about ghost video games. I was like, we should do Ghostmaster. And Tyler and David were both, what's that? And I was like, I played the original game way back when. I remember we like got it came on a disc and everything. It was my brother's game, and I watched breathlessly as he played it. I did get to play it myself a little bit. So again, the original game with the climax cliffhanger. And then years later, I bought it digitally when I just was like, man, remember that Ghostmaster game? And I saw it was I bought it for like $5 on Amazon, and I played it through then, and it was like, oh my god, there's a whole new level. And so I was really excited when I got to play Resurrection for this, because I also bought it again because I wanted to see the difference. I didn't replay the original game because I was very busy and forgot about it, but I do have a lot of vivid memories. So,
Did you?
did you guys know there are new ghosts in this version?
I did not know, but I did. I guess I did kind of assume that there'd be something new.
I don't know that I've unlocked all of the ghosts, but I know for sure there was one that I was like, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" I haven't actually unlocked that ghost yet because it was a little hard, but we'll get to her later.
Yeah. Well,
Who are you? You mean boo are you?
Perfect. Excellent. That's amazing.
And that leads us to our themes, everybody.
Does. It's
so-
very natural. Very natural lead.
Thank you. All right, so our first theme of the day is unfettered, moisturized, happy. One of the main facets of gameplay includes deploying ghosts in rooms or on objects in each level. These placements are called fetters in the game and restrict the types of ghosts, and therefore powers that can be deployed in any level. This is one of the main sources of puzzle gameplay. How do the environments and available fetters work for us?
I want to start by saying that I had never encountered the word fetters before, which is strange because I've been put in fetters before. I just didn't call them that, and so this is it's like a type of chain handcuff situation. It's a very spooky way of talking about bondage. And I did like the puzzle mechanics of only being able to put some spirits in some things. But I think ultimately what happened is that I would have like some of the coolest looking ghosts with some of the best powers, and they could only be put on murder. And I was like, there's never any murder anywhere. There's like one murder per level. And what am I ever going to put this cool guy with a Tommy gun? He can only go on murder.
That's so real. There are certain ghosts that have ability to make like a gift, like that has certain names. And with using that, you can bind any ghost type to that. But then that does create a secondary puzzle of how to get a human carrying that gift to where you want the ghost to go. And it can be a little tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, I did deploy the gift thing, which I thought was a cool function. But by then I was like, podcast recording is coming up. I cannot wait.
I have to say this didn't work for me at all. It's going to be a trend for this episode. Sorry, Emily.
Yeah, no, I was looking through, and in two themes
you'll
even,
see.
I was like, oh, yet again, merely like something that Tyler does. Sorry about it.
I'm just wondering at what point in time we just stopped doing video games, because Tyler not always hitting gold on the video game. I mean,
I'm very particular.
Until Dawn. You liked Until Dawn. You liked Gone Home. But I know that you also missed some things in both of those games. Every game we've talked about.
Yeah, every game. This is true. Because I just play honestly.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
I love that. I respect that.
I love that too. We're just going to have... Tyler will be on Super Mario Moment and be like, oh my god, there's a Luigi?
There's a green Mario? Yeah, I think so my problem with this game is that I don't feel like it instructed me enough on what I was supposed to do. And it was a lot of like, I'm clicking in menus that open into more menus to try and deduce what this one thing does. And why can't I put this ghost here? I'm trying to select this thing to put the ghost here, but you're telling me I have to press one different button and then another different button.
Oh, yeah.
That should be all on the same button.
Oh, yeah.
So it was very puzzling to me.
Truly.
And
not in a puzzle game kind of way. It was a different type of puzzling.
Yeah. I will say, again, I didn't play the original version on the computer to double check, but I don't know that this was the greatest translation of gameplay mechanics to console. At the very least on the Switch. I don't know about the PlayStation.
No.
Nope, bad.
In fact, it probably never told you this, Tyler. I only learned it during the last level. But if you pressed the joysticks, you know, that R3, L3, not like that stupid button that shouldn't be a button, but people code it to be a button anyway. It'll actually help you navigate between the ghosts and the mortal menus. And only discovering it in the last level, I was kind of like flipping a coffee table over. Like, I just like couldn't believe it. and
Yeah.
that would have saved me a lot of time. But yeah, if you, hey, listen, listener, if listener, if you love a menu, like you love a menu, like you were disappointed when you went and saw the menu with Ray Fiennes because there wasn't enough menus in it, this game has got you covered. This game is all about the menu.
If you are an old head who misses the experience of being on Windows XP
Truly.
and pressing the start button and then having window after sub-menu after sub-menu, this game's got you covered.
Yeah. You want to know the bio of a character? You're going to click three times. You're in for a treat. You're just in for a joy, which is, the bummer about it is that I would stop doing it, but there's actually some pretty funny things written in the bios, and like it makes the game better. And I'll talk about the POV at one point in time. But like you have to navigate so much to get there that it is sort of taking away from the fun puzzle of it all.
Right.
Yeah, for real.
Well, our next theme is It Knows What Scares You. The other aspect of the strategy of the game is discovering the fears of mortals to deploy against them. This information, alongside each mortal's belief level, makes your scares more effective to achieve the goals of each level. Is it not enough to be scared of ghosts? What did we think about the mechanic of having specific fears for each mortal?
So, like, some of the hardest ghosts to get and recruit on your team have specific triggers in order to recruit them that involve using mortals' fears against them, which sucks.
Yeah.
Because you don't really use that mechanic.
No.
So it's very difficult to, especially in late game, be like, okay, I have this all figured out. What do you mean I have to get a specific person with a specific fear to this location before I scare everybody off? Fuck.
Yeah, I wish this worked more like The Sims, where it's like very easy to select a person and see information about them. Like I was expecting like press a button to basically tab between the different humans, and then you would be able to see like the camera jumps to them and you could see information about them. Because I'm thinking about that's like Sims or like a Roller Coaster Tycoon kind of deal. You could see that information. And again, it just, if that was a function, it was not very well communicated at all. So it kind of felt like there was too much being thrown with no instructions, and I never even figured out if this was a thing that you could do. So unfortunately, I didn't really see like, oh, this mortal has like different beliefs and stuff. It was just like,
Yeah. I was sort of the same, Tyler, because I found a ghost and I deployed them, and they had a power that was like discover fear. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I can like find out that they're afraid of plants and use one of my plant creating ghosts to create plants. And in the end, it was like, you know what? Everyone's afraid of raining blood. So I'm just going to rain blood all the time. And
That's so real.
maybe here's the deal. I did read reviews. It seems like Resurrection made it a little bit easier for you to just like muscle your way through this game. Because that's what I would do. I would just deploy the highest value power until everyone was scared and left. And sometimes I would only get 2 pumpkins, and I thought, that's fine. 2 is enough. It's enough pumpkins.
so in fall, normally 1 is enough. So 2, I think,
Genuinely.
double it.
2 pumpkins? That's so many pumpkins.
So many. So the game, as we said, has been remastered and rebalanced, which is our third and final theme for today's episode. So the game was notoriously difficult with very few tutorials and explanations, and in the original game, a massive Act 3 difficulty spike in how mortals could be affected or respond to ghosts. The remaster balancing made the game much, much easier, as David said. This is great for podcasters, but reviews have noted that the difficulty is all but gone in the remaster version. That's okay, they just made the menus harder. How was your experience with playing the game and its difficulty?
Even with this easier version, I almost quit a few times, simply because it was too difficult to understand what I was supposed to be doing in any given level.
And I did quit. Sorry, Marilee.
Oh,
It's okay. I get it. I also had a really hard time with certain levels. Specifically, just like, I'm gonna do my best, and sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't.
Yeah.
But like I really understand and get it. I have so much grace and compassion for much younger me who is trying to do this with no game guide, no internet, just a prayer trying to figure this game out.
Though 2003 Marilee maybe had a little more time. Had a little more time on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Well, somewhat. Again,
Okay.
I was sharing computer space with which was a whole other thing.
Yeah, that.
Mhm.
Listen, you can't be like, I need to Ghostmaster. That's not a valid argument if somebody needs to do homework or shop online or whatever else we were doing in 2003.
Times were so different.
Update our instant messenger away status.
Yeah. Play Neopets.
Neopets.
Put some song lyrics on your away status.
Cut my life into pieces, Tyler. There was also, here's the thing that's funny, is that towards the end I went to the ghost, your like headquarters finally, and was like, oh, I can upgrade things, and found this skill tree, and I was like, what, would this make things even easier? But then I didn't understand how the skill tree worked. It just, there's so much in this game that later games would use to a very, very effective end that just were whispers of what this all could be. Ooh, whispers was one of the powers I used.
Genuinely, I have no idea if the skill tree and like all of the upgrades and stuff were available in the original game. I don't remember them, and I'm not sure if that's just because that was something that I never engaged with, or if it was there and I just don't remember.
Truly and honestly. Well, we've got all these ghosts, so it's time for us to ask some questions that we ask of every media we cover. The first of which is it horror? Were you scared playing Ghostmaster? Does this game belong in a conversation about horror media?
Listen, if you love a strategy puzzle game and you love Halloween, I think this is the perfect combo.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
This is such Halloween vibes. Like the game starts with a Ouija board and there's a big jack-o'-lantern on it. The pumpkins that you get are all jack-o'-lanterns. The music is really fun. Like the vibes are on point with what they're trying to do. So not at all scary. This is not a scary game even remotely, which is great because not all people who enjoy like horror aesthetic like scary things, and that's totally fine. I'd say this is the kind of game for you in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, yeah.
I will say, if you have arachnophobia, there is one ghost in particular that you get early on that is just a giant spider, and a couple other ghosts have like a swarm ability, which is just spiders.
Yeah.
So that's not great for you. But Skinner is honestly one of the most effective ghosts, so you simply just have to get fucking over it.
Yeah. I don't think that I was ever scared because I'm in top-down view this whole time. And even if I could zoom in, I'm not like even spiders, which I don't care for, weren't scaring me because I was looking at them top down. It was like seeing a spider at a museum. That does not affect me the same way as seeing one like on my microphone stand would affect me.
Mm-hmm.
But I did use the point of view from the mortals a couple times, and honestly, 100% different game. Because in the remaster, they are rendered really well. And if they interact with like telekinesis and you're watching things in point of view flash and spin around, it's actually very effective. And I think that if you're the sort of person who does this sort of thing, you could make some pretty compelling, scary environment situations using the POV camera of this game.
That's really cool.
I'm seeing like a version of this game that has multiplayer and like it's like 2v4, like 2 ghosts and 4 players. And the players are like the normal humans are in first person and the ghosts get the top down view.
Yeah.
I think that would be really fun.
Yeah. And I think just if that was not part of the original game, I could understand.
No, it was.
Oh, it was. Okay. Well, it looks really good in the remaster because I've seen some clips from the original game. And she was made in 2003, baby.
Yeah, she was. She did her best. But I do remember like exploring around on the POV. It's not something that I ever spent a lot of time on because I was, of course, trying to win.
Of course.
And,
as we all do here on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And that has nothing to do with the win condition. So it's like, I'm wasting time looking at this. I have to figure out what I'm doing with my ghost guys.
Right.
But I do like it can. I should have checked to see what the graphics were like on this new version. I bet it looked really cool.
Yeah,
it does look. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, the POV in particular. I think the top down looks as good as you can make a reskinned RTS top down from a 2003 game. Or the
Oh
POV.
yeah, no, as soon as the game loaded up, I was like hit with a wave of nostalgia. I was like, oh wow, it really is like my old Ghostmaster game, but like on my new Switch. Wow. Um
But otherwise, I don't know.
Can
The ghosts are they're a little cute more than they're scary. Like one of the ghosts was just a dog.
yeah.
It was just like an old Yeller type dog.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like fun ghost archetypes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then a big creepy spider.
And then a big creepy spider.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I think, like, according to the lore, like, did that spider used to be a human, and then when it turned into a ghost, it became a spider? Because like,
horrendous.
there's like the gremlin, and that was a guy,
That's
according
right.
to the lore.
That's right.
And then when he died, he became a gremlin, and now he's this little dude.
Because just like for all the mortals where you can read like their little bios, all of the ghosts have epitaphs that you can read, which again it's just fun flavor. It's really nice. It's just but it's hard to access.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, speaking of access, we gotta ask here on Fear Coded Podcast, it's not enough to be scary. You also have to be queer. So let's take a moment to really explore and discuss the game using the lens of queer theory. Is Ghostmaster queer?
I think no.
Big no. Big, super huge no. I don't think this game is interested in anything except isn't it fun to scare people and pretend to be a ghost? This is all I think the game wants.
That's a little gay. We like that. I like to freak a person out. I like to freak a straight person out.
Well, I guess that's fair. If we are really doing some heavy lifting to say this game is queer in that case.
The first group of mortals that you interact with are all named after facts of life characters, and that's a little queer. But otherwise, no. This is an RTS, a real-time strategy game. It is among the most heterosexual of game subgenres. It's where like Clash of Empires and the original Warcraft was an RTS. Like this is just like straight games for straight guys who are straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, despite your best attempts at a seance, you are still being haunted by this ad. If you want this house to be clean with an ad-free listening experience, you can join the Fear Coded Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to early and ad-free episodes on your very own podcast feed, and extra bonus content begins at $3 a month. Now, we aren't completely malevolent spirits, so you won't hear ads about a multi-level marketing scheme for crystals that heal you. But if you would like to skip ads just like this one, you can support the Fear Coded Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast and support real, human, queer artists for as little as $1 a month. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I do think the number one priority is the puzzles. And I love that. I love a puzzle. I do think we could, if we really wanted to tilt into it, this is a great example of Be Gay Do Crimes Ghost Edition, because you're here to scare straight people, which is what all gay ghosts want, I think.
I have a couple other arguments that I will present for us. The narrator's performance is pretty camp. It is.
Yes.
It is among the best parts of this game.
I love that narrator.
Because it is like, I'm going to put my whole person into this. And then the music is it's right for the game, but it's a little atonal for horror. And in that way, I think the music gets to be a little bit queer. Because once you're like almost done with a level, we turn the whimsy of the music up to like 11, and it's like a jaunty little ditty as you like prepare for the end, and it was kind of exciting to hear that.
Yeah, like you will hit a certain point where things are just like running on autobus. You have all of the ghosts at their max power. Most of the people are gone, and then the music's just like, oh, we're doing our victory lap.
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
Like 30 more seconds until the person dips out, and it is a music shift, and that is pretty camp.
The music sounds like it was performed by a band of skeletons.
That is yes, positive, complimentary. Yes. This was performed by a group of skeletons.
Perfect.
Dem bones. Welcome for your next bar mitzvah.
It's incredible. Incredible. Well, Marilee, Tyler, are you ready to jump into the game beat by beat as we discuss the 2003 Ghostmaster?
Let's get into it.
All right, so the game is spread out over 3 acts, but first let's spend a little time describing the basic functions of the game. Each level's gameplay begins with an opportunity to survey the environment and investigate the mortals who are present. Then the player can select which ghosts to deploy or choose the pick for me recommend option. Spoiler alert, recommendations are not always great, so you do have to pay attention. When the level begins, players bind ghosts to certain rooms or items and use the ghost powers to achieve their goals. Each level also has the opportunity to unlock new specters to join your ranks. As players scare more mortals, their available ectoplasm will increase, so they can deploy more ghosts or use stronger powers. For the first level, Haunting 101, a tutorial, the objective is simple: scare every member of the Kappa Lambda sorority.
Yeah, the way I whimpered "oh no" when the level started.
Was it because of the sorority, or
No, it was just like
no.
I'm starting on the roof of this building. Let me then try to figure out how to go down to another floor. Okay, I figure out how to go down to another floor. There's no one here. Okay, let me go down to another floor. Okay, there's some people asleep and some people moving around.
Yeah.
Okay, this room has a description of like electronics and just I don't know, something basic. Indoor. It was always like indoor or outdoor.
Right.
And so I would go put a ghost in a room where there's like a person asleep, and it was like, okay, I'm going to choose an option that sounds like it would make loud noise. And so I put a ghost in there, and I chose the option that made it sound like it would make loud noise. And then the person didn't wake up.
How
and I'm like,
how dare they?
Well, that was pointless. Let me go put this guy in here because he's got like the nightmare label or emotional label. Okay, so he's in here, and this is like a heavily trafficked area, so surely this will work. And people are just walking around like nothing's happening. So I was immediately very confused. And I also couldn't figure out how to zoom in until the second level.
Yep.
So then I was also just like, I am having to squint to play this game as well. I'm not having a good time right now.
Yeah. This is, I mean, it's called 101, and it is like, we'll start with a tutorial. But then there's no tutorial.
Yeah, no, they don't really explain shit. I gotta say, when you read this description, I was like, yeah, you're supposed to, investigate the mortals present. I have never once in my fucking life thought to click on the mortals and like investigate anything. I was like, okay, move on to the next. Let's pick the ghosts. I don't know why this thing with the timer is there. Especially because in the little movie that they show before, they show you where the ghosts are, so you don't even need to explore around. You're like, okay, there's a ghost there, and I just have to find it on the level later. Why would I wait to look around when I can't even do anything?
The game's giving me 3 minutes to do something, Marilee. I'm going to use all 3 minutes of them.
And this is like, okay, so, all right, one of these ghosts is here. Okay, I'm going to put the spider in here. And then this is another heavily trafficked area. And I know the spider works because I was able to scare someone with the spider, right? So, okay, I've put them in this room with another ghost that's trapped. Okay, here they come. And boom, it works. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm actually figuring out how this game works. And then we'll get to the next level and then things will change irrevocably.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. But I'm giving a little bit of foreshadowing for what is to come.
Navigating... So, similar to Tyler, when this opened and I was looking at the house, I thought, like, oh, you know what I've got to do is, even though this has been remastered, I have to put myself back in playing The Sims from the turn of the millennium. I have to think about how we were originally navigating 3D environments in this type of world, because so much has changed. It's a little bit like going from playing Super Mario Odyssey back to Super Mario 64. Like, yeah, we had just invented the third dimension. Like, it doesn't feel the same as it feels today.
Yeah. That's very true, because, like, you go and play, like, the Tomb Raider remasters, for example.
Right.
Those games, like, if you try and play with the original controls and you never played it before, you're just like, what the fuck is tank controls? I thought Lara Croft was, like, really fast and nimble, and I'm having to rotate her before I can walk forward, jump back once, and then jump. Like, and then I have to grab with another button. Like, this is too much. So that I felt like a person who had never played one of the original Tomb Raiders trying to play the remaster, and it was just like, ah.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads us into Act 1. So Act 1 begins in earnest with the levels Weird Seance, set in the Alpha Tau Fraternity House, and the Calamityville Horror, set in the Huts House. Weird Seance plays identical to the tutorial level, but there are 3 new ghosts who you can recruit, who each have unlocked conditions, and they're all named after, again, like Weird Science, Ally McBeal, Revenge of the Nerds, Star Wars, Dune, etc. Just very classic, like sci-fi, but also some contemporary stuff as well.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes in this one, because instead of a sorority, we're going to a frat house. And I didn't get more than halfway through the weird seance house before I quit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on.
Do you remember what it was specifically that made you stop? Like, what was it that was like,
So I saw
rage quit?
So I saw another ghost that was trapped, and then someone was walking in there, and I was like, okay, great. I'm going to do the same thing I did the first time, because I know that's how it works. So if you have a ghost that scares someone, it's going to unlock the imprisoned ghost. So I put the spider in there, and I had it do like scary shit that I know works, because it was like the thing that generates like the most heat or whatever. And it didn't work. And I tried it again, and it still didn't work.
Oh, no.
And then I was just like, this game is so frustrating to me in particular, and I am a busy person with a life.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I
I
can't
love
play a
Treasure
game
You.
that feels like it's hiding information from me. So I just quit right then and there.
Yeah.
I love and treasure you, and I respect that very much. Would you like to know the answer?
Yeah, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
Okay, so you're talking about the brain in the jar, right?
No.
Oh, okay. So is it the cat?
I think it must have been the cat, maybe.
Yeah, so for the cat, you're supposed to, the cat has a power called Luck Storm. You basically needed to get one of the frat guys to win pinball, using the arcade machine. And if they used Luck Storm and got abnormally lucky, it would zap the ghost cat and it would get off and join your team.
This is like playing Cones of Dunshire from Parks and Recreation, because that sounds like so many other things that you have to do to resolve this one thing. And I hate that. So,
and much like the example you gave, you forgot about the cones, Tyler. In that
it's all about the cones.
In that these ghosts that you meet, because they're not part of your party, I didn't think to do this until way later in the game, but you can use their powers even before they're recruited. And I was like, well, fuck my drag. Like, what the fuck?
But how do you know what their powers are?
You click on it, homie.
Because
you can click on them?
They're beneath your ghosts. Like, yeah, but I had no idea that.
I thought they were silhouettes, so you couldn't know.
You have to talk. Once you talk to them, they're not silhouettes anymore.
You can talk to them?
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about.
So this is
so many things
so
that
valid.
should have just been like,
so valid.
Here's an instruction. Here's an instruction. Here's an instruction.
Yeah,
Nothing.
More than anything, they need to actually have a tutorial in their tutorial, because actually the ghost in the tutorial you don't get just by scaring somebody. You have to break the vacuum that she's in.
Yeah. Just
ridiculous.
So much going on here.
This shit doesn't make any sense to me, and I probably would have had an easier time with it if the game had actually said, here's how you can zoom in, instead of forcing me to go Google, how do you zoom in? And then being told, because of stupid Google AI, well, obviously, idiot, you use the mouse scroll button. Very helpful on my PlayStation 5 controller.
Yes, incredible. Incredible.
This game is my opponent. It's my op now.
Yeah.
But thankfully,
imagine.
Yeah. Imagine, Marilee.
Uh-huh.
No.
Imagine baby me playing this game a long time ago before you could Google things on the internet. Like they were the world's strongest soldier, I swear to God.
I think 2003 me was actually playing like Tomb Raider Chronicles that I got from like a Sam's Club when I went with my mom, because it was like $10 and I was playing it on my PlayStation 1, waiting for them to eventually release Tomb Raider Legend like 3 years later. And if it wasn't that, it was a racing game. So I didn't play my first RTS merely, unless Age of Empires counts. Does Age of Empires count as an RTS, David?
Yeah, technically.
Okay, I played the Age of Empires demo in the computer lab in 6th and 7th grade because you could just go to downloads.com and you can install it that way. And then I got everyone else in my class to play it in a LAN party, and then we eventually got kicked out. But I don't even know where I'm going with this anymore. I didn't play any RTS besides Age of Empires until like this year when I tried to play Total War Warhammer.
Nice.
So it's been a long time.
I don't know that I've played any other RTS now that I'm thinking about it.
None of the rest are like this, I must say.
There are people who would argue that tower defense games are also RTSs, and I've played a fair number of tower defense games.
I've never played any single one of them.
I love it. I love it. My favorite was Monsters. Pixel Junk Monsters. And then these cute little monsters are coming to eat your little people, and you have to fire arrows at them. Pachoo, pachoo.
Well, other terrible, creepy monsters that go pachoo, pachoo can be found in the Calamityville Horror, which is the other level that you can play in this segment of the game, where you are playing with a unique victory condition, which is the first time this happens in the game. Instead of simply scaring every mortal into fleeing the home, you must get them to discover the bodies hidden in their home. There are 3 total bodies, and 2 must be discovered.
I liked there being something different to do, because already I was starting to be like, oh, am I just going to go in and scare everyone every level? And the idea that, like, you can't scare them, you have to get them to slowly find these things without overdoing it, or you'll scare them away, I thought was really nice.
Yeah, I remember this level being way harder than it was when I played it this time, because I breezed through it, and I got all 3 of them on the first try. The makeup sales lady, I remember in particular, you had to like go through so many other steps, and this time I got her almost by accident. I had put on her obsession thing, and I was like, okay, and I will figure out how to get people into that room again in a minute. I have to go try and shake the other guy out of the chimney real fast.
Right.
And by the time I got back, I had, like, just thinking of her, I had already gotten her ghost into the party. And it was the hardest one was getting the guy in the basement. But again, I did all of them on the first shot, and I remember thinking, they've really fucked with the difficulty, or also I'm so much better at this game now. One of the 2 of them.
I'm so much better now. So Tyler, you didn't make it past Weird Seance, but did you watch like a Let's Play or anything, or is this all going to be new to you?
No, I've watched some clips from the game. Believe it or not, there's actually not that much like gameplay footage of someone doing a walkthrough of this game, which I tried really hard to find. So I did the best other thing that I could, and I jumped and found clips where they were available. I went back and watched that guy's video that I mentioned at the start of the episode, just to get more of a sense of like what is the game like as you go further and further in, and what are like the new challenges that crop up, what are the new settings, what are the new features that show up to kind of throw you off your game, which we'll be discussing shortly. So I am at least going to be able to participate in our conversation. I wanted to make sure that if I did the injustice of quitting a game that we are covering on this podcast, I at least want to be sure that I could still participate in said podcast.
Totally fair.
I am ready and willing to talk about the rest of this game that I did not play.
So missed opportunity that I should have recorded myself playing this game is what I'm hearing.
Potentially. Yeah.
Well,
maybe you have to, now you can go back, replay the whole game, record it, and then put chunks of it up on YouTube for people to watch while they listen to the podcast.
Wow. Maybe that will happen, but I will have to re-download it because I deleted this one. I was like, we're done, baby.
I treasure you. All right, so the act ends with a mission, Summoners Not Included, where a group of college students is trying to find an occult tome to summon the Darkling. Every end of act mission involves this ongoing story of recruiting the Darkling to your cause. In this mission, the player can approach the goal of getting the students into the basement several ways, either by helping them find a key to the padlocked basement or getting them to use an axe to open the door. In the first instance of the game, it is the first instance of the game providing multiple paths to solve the puzzle. Upon finding the tome, Dr. Kraus will arrive and kick the students out of the basement at gunpoint. You have to scare him out of the house to resume the ritual, upon which time the Darkling will devour the students' souls.
Excuse me, at gunpoint?
Yeah, baby.
It is this cutscene.
A normal thing.
I was like, this is pretty wild. What's happening here?
Yeah, no, and you don't get any notice that he's arrived. He's just like, you're in the basement with the kids, everything's going your way, and then, oh my god, there's a person with a gun?
And he looks very mad scientist vibes.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Dr.
I will say,
Kraus.
when I was looking at the scene description, I was like, oh my god, they can use it with an axe. And then I remembered, no, that is actually the way I always do it. I didn't know there was a key. I always get them to open it by having the wind spirit that you get in this level use wind to just blow the thing, and they always just open it on their own. Where's the key?
Where you would put keys, Marilee, and that's the beehive next to the outhouse. Yep.
Sure.
That's where I keep key.
Well, now I'm going to have to move where my keys are, because now my keys are getting mixed up with David's keys, and they're all covered in honey.
Yeah.
But you have to knock the beehive over anyway, because that's how you get the ghost that's in the outhouse.
Correct. But that is when they will know that the key is there. So if they do not discover the axe, they will use the key, because the key is how I solved it.
Okay. Genuinely, I'm not sure if they use the key or the axe anymore then, because I never paid attention to that. I was just like, all right, you gotta use the wind and it'll get people in there. And that'll happen. I will say, so there's a couple things about this level that really had issues for me, which is when I was playing on the Switch, I experienced an error where I couldn't click on Soul Scream at all the first time I did this. Soul Scream is the other ghost in this level. The professor murdered his wife, no biggie. She's buried in the basement. And she wants to scare people, and you're supposed to be able to use her at the climax to help scare the professor. That's what she wants. I couldn't click on her the first time I played it. But here's the thing. I breezed through this level. I didn't even play this level for 15 minutes. I just bam, got him. And then every subsequent time I tried to play this level to get that ghost, I couldn't get all three students down in the basement at the same time. I would just be playing for ages, watching, and I had all of these ghosts that attracted people, trying to get them in there. I would just leave it running, and they would never, ever, all three of them get down in the basement. It was so I ended up getting Soul Scream the second time around because I just couldn't fucking do it.
I guess that actually makes me wonder. A question that I had when I was watching these videos is someone said whenever you have to get people either upstairs or downstairs, it's so difficult. Is that the same with the remaster?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving. I mean, because you can't move the mortals, so you've got to encourage their movement. And there's not 100 ways to do that. There's really only a few.
Yeah. No, I would have the Weather Witch, who is the person that you can unlock in the tutorial. She has an ability called Siren Song, but so I would put her on a thoroughfare nearby, and there is the wind spirit that you get at that level has an insane incantation. You could have another ghost with an insane incantation. I would have all three of them in or nearby the basement, just being like, "Hey, come down here." And I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. And that was really, really frustrating, especially because how easy it happened the first time when I couldn't complete it because of another bullshit reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Tyler, you quit, but I will tell you again that if I wasn't doing the notes, you probably wouldn't have been the only one who quit. I do think, though, and here, one of the things we haven't directly mentioned, Tyler gave it a little bit of time earlier, but all of the mortals are named after characters from pop media. I do like that the college students here were all named after characters from the Evil Dead franchise because we covered that so recently. It was really fun. The sort of way that the names are done is the first name is from the character in the franchise, and the last name is the last name of the actor who portrayed them. So it was Ash Campbell was one of the students, for example.
And then I heard too that sometimes characters can reappear as a human and then as a ghost later on. Is that true?
No.
Okay, so it seems like just some characters can be in one state, in one level of like, I'm normal. And then in another level, they're like, I hate ghosts or something like that. That's what the video told me.
There are characters that reappear, like the Ghostbusters, for example, and then like in the sorority level, there are some similar people. They've specifically hired witches because they were scared of the ghosts. But not to my knowledge, I don't remember anything like that. But then again, I obviously wasn't paying attention to the humans all that much.
I'm just now imagining though that these girls predicted Etsy witches by basically just being like, we could hire some witches, right?
I mean, they just got these girls to join their sorority, so it's like hired for given value of the word.
Okay. We're not quite at Etsy witch level yet.
I mean, they specifically recruited girls because they were witches to join their social club, so it's sort of.
We're sort of at Etsy witch level is what I'm hearing.
All right, Act 2 builds upon the player's understanding of the game's mechanics by deepening the strategy needed to accomplish goals. In the first mission, Dead Fellas, the player must focus on a single mortal, Don Bartholomew, and increase either his terror, madness, or belief bars to full. These are 3 meters that each mortal has, and various ghost powers affect each of these conditions. For all missions moving forward, after enough scaring has taken place, sane mortals may call for help from witches, mediums, or the dreaded ghost breakers, who can quickly and permanently eliminate your spirits from the level. Act 2 then returns with higher difficulty, scare everyone away objectives in the police station in the usual suspects level, and then back at the Hutt's house for the Poultrygeist. And then Act 2 has us return to the Kappa Lambda sorority, to scare away 3 witches. The witches, by the way, are named for the witches of Eastwick, in face packs and broomsticks, and 3 doctors in the new hospital location with Phantom of the Operating Room.
A lot of fun punny names.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like what we're doing here. It is nice.
I really like that the game is like, okay, you have gotten pretty used to how this whole thing sort of works, so now we're going to throw some spanners in the works with Ghostbreakers, as well as witches and mediums. But the Ghostbreakers seem to be the most threatening. And I think that's really clever for a game like this, because it also ensures that you can't keep using the same ghosts for every level. So essentially, like, I'm sure in the original version when it was harder, this was even more difficult to brute force with the same ghosts over and over. So then the Ghostbreakers showing up, now you kind of have to think about like, oh, well, do I want to bring this ghost in because they're really big and loud and not very subtle at all? So that means the threat level is going to rise faster, which means the Ghostbreakers will show up faster. So I think that's kind of neat strategy to get a player thinking about how do I approach this level differently.
Agreed. I was very nervous about people showing up because when I was playing the Poultrygeist, your boy went a little hard, and they summoned like every ghost. They summoned 3 Ghostbreakers, and I was like, oh no, I'm hosed. I'm gonna have to redo this level. But frankly, they were not as much of a threat as the game made them sound like they were. And so it was pretty easy to evade their attacks and then just sort of swarm them with scares to ruin even their lives.
Yeah, I think the trickiest part about having them around is specifically the ghosts that you're trying to recruit, because you can't pick them up off the level, right? Like if some of the other ghosts are experiencing heat, you could just bench them real quick, and there's nothing they can do about that. But there are some, like in Poultrygeist, there is Hard Boiled, which is a poltergeist attached to one of the kids that's like the combined spirit of all of these chickens that died in at a factory farm. Um, and you have to, I think the recruitment requirement for that is like that kid has to be around the longest or something. I don't remember what it was, but you couldn't, if something was going on, you couldn't pick up Poultrygeist, so you had to be very careful about what that ghost was doing, or where they were. And I think that is the hardest part about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're right, Marilee. I think, like, you sort of have to navigate accomplishing these, like, side quests of recruiting the ghosts
Mm-hmm.
and the main objective. And sometimes they really go hand in hand, and sometimes they are, like, completely separate.
Yeah, like in the second sorority level, there's a ghost in an upstairs bathroom that she has a power where she can like copy somebody, like a doppelganger power, but she wants to do it somebody with like her same hair, and there's one sorority girl, Blair Waldorf or whatever, who is the only one. You have to lure her upstairs to that bathroom, and you can't scare her away because she's got to go up there, but getting her into that bathroom can be very tricky, especially because there are multiple bathrooms on the floors. Blair's the ghost is only in that bathroom, and you have to, and also the witches are around, so drawing people up there can be hard.
Yeah, truly.
Plus, you're having to draw people up, and as we've established, very difficult in
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah, changing floors, not easy to do.
No.
Mm-hmm. Well, Act 2 ends with the mission The Blair Wisp Project. For this, we return to the isolated cabin where the Darkling still lies in wait for more mortals. 3 documentarians are nearby, and we have to use our ghost powers to get them to the cabin. There are multiple ways to do this, from calming the mortals down enough to walk across the bridge, to freezing the lake and knocking over a tree for them to cross. However you do it, when the mortals summon the Darkling, Dr. Kraus reappears and binds the creature in a trap. But I have to know, does he have a gun when he does it?
No, and the trap.
He's not packing heat.
The trap was there all along. It
Yeah.
was there all along, Tyler.
I mean, the mortals are dead at that point, so there's nothing really that Dr. Cross can do. He's just like, I've killed these people and I've got the ghost.
Yeah.
I will say, hey, what bridge? What bridge?
There's an out bridge, and if you calm them down enough, they will shimmy along it.
How do you calm them
There
down?
are some ghosts that have powers that lower their terror, and that lower their terror, and that is their like calming influence.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I've never done that. I just freeze the lake.
Yeah, this was the one that I almost was like, we're not doing this anymore. Because if they start to cross the lake when it's not frozen, you get an animation of them like wading into the water. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't understand what's happening here.
Yeah.
But
I
you know
think the first time I played this level, I froze it on accident. And that's how I did it. But when I was playing this time, I just remember it's like you gotta freeze the lake, and then people will go across this way, and they've got the fucking skeleton guy halfway through, which helps draw them closer. But yeah.
Skeleton guy taking a break from being in the band that's making all the music
Well,
for this game.
he doesn't have any hands. He's just like a head attached to a spine. So
he's
Yes,
the vocal
exactly.
cords.
and that's why there aren't really any lyrics in the songs, because he's busy being trapped on an island.
Yeah.
Oh, such a shame.
I
hate it when that happens.
I just like that there's this sort of like overall like story that we're slowly unfolding with this Dr. Kraus and the Darkling. But we're more than halfway through the game, so it's trucking along.
Yeah, for real.
I think that's fun. I think it's fun to have a game where it's like each level is like its own kind of deal, but in the background there is a story that is being established. So I think that's neat, especially because it's such an episodic style of game.
It's sort of like the X-Files, where there are Monster of the Week and lore episodes, and they have a lore episode every chapter, as well as some reoccurring characters from chapter to chapter.
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah. So Act 3 has 2 new locations for us in the missions. Spooky Hollow, where we have to expose the summoning of the Headless Horseman, and Full Mortal Jacket, where we have to scare away the military before they can mount a defense against the supernatural. The player is then directed back to the police station where the Ghost Breakers have taken it to center their operations. They have deployed wards in many rooms, preventing the player from binding ghosts until the wards have been taken care of. The wards will appear in every level following this one and require more and more strategy to accomplish your objectives.
Yeah, the new environments started to feel a little bit like padding at this point. Like, I liked the military base, but I was also like, oh, this is gigantic. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
it was very
huge.
big.
And it felt like we were just padding out Act 3 a little bit.
Mhm.
I, to this day, have no idea how I cleared Spooky Hollow, because I could get a mortal to go and look at the window, but they wouldn't respond to him doing the seance. I don't know what finally triggered it. I truly and honestly don't know.
Would you like me to tell you? Because I
Sure.
remember this because it was so fucking hard. So like when I figured this out, what we were supposed to do, it was a moment so joyous. The memory has stayed ingrained in my brain. So basically you have to use a bunch of wind spirits to get the windmill going, which will knock over the skull. And that when you have to then draw people there to see everything, and then you can't let the person who saw everything get scared. By the Headless Horseman as it goes to tell other people. And once you get other people, they will kick the guy out, and then they will go bury the skeleton, and that's how you get the guy. It's so stupid complicated. Why?
Somehow that all happened. There's massive logical gaps in the gameplay, because I never saw them go and get somebody. Just finally somebody knocked on the window and was like, come to the door. I'm going to take the skull to this grave. And then the game was over.
Yeah. Did you guys get the secret ghosts on this level? There's one here, and there's one in the first time when we get the police station, where they have a ghost that they don't tell you about.
No.
A ghost that they don't tell you about?
Secrets.
Just
Secrets.
keeps on coming, Tyler. Just keeps on coming.
But they just keep on not telling you things in this game, let me tell you.
In the first time you go to the police station, if you take your earth elemental and use it in the reception area, and do a little earthquake, the bonsai pot in the corner will break, and you get a second earth elemental, who's stronger and better. And in this level, because it's a windmill and you have so many outside things, you have so many ghosts like that can have like wind generating powers, and like generate a storm. And if they go for long enough, lightning will strike the tree in the center of the lake, and then you will get a ghost spirit, or like it's like an eagle.
Wild. How would you know? How would you know?
You wouldn't. I got this guy in complete accident.
This really feels like it was made by developers who were coming from like older adventure and puzzle games from like the 90s. And I don't know if that's who made up this studio originally. It was. David is nodding for
thanks to
okay,
Moby
so
Games.
That kind of bullshit I think exists in like a puzzle game or an adventure game, not so much in an RTS style of game. For me anyway, like I feel like that's the kind of thing that's like fun to discover after clicking a whole bunch of stuff, and you have like all the time in the world. It's kind of leisurely. This is like, you gotta go, bitch. Like, you gotta haunt these people. You gotta get them out of here. You gotta make sure that you're like balancing out the fuel that you have to scare the people. And like, there's so many different like subtasks and all this other stuff to do. And then it's also surprise, there's just things that we don't tell you about that you can maybe discover or maybe never after 20 years.
Yeah.
Like this, I like this game. It was not for me. This was just not a game. This was a game that Tyler's brain was just like, no, don't do that.
Genuinely, I do think I probably wouldn't like this game as much now, but because I did play it when I was so young, I think that like I have a lot more grace for it. But I will say, one of the new ghosts that I know for sure wasn't around the first time, because I Googled it. It was like, who the fuck is this bitch? Is one of the ghosts in Full Mortal Jacket. like Soul Screech or whatever her name is, who's like Discount Storm in like the back area. She is so hard. She's the one that I'm planning on circling back around to get, because it's like, we're recording a podcast tomorrow. I should probably actually like finish this game. I do not have time to figure out how to find which of these military motherfuckers are afraid of being chased and then get them to go into her room so that she can chase them. I just don't have time.
No, and in the Ghostbreakers repurposed police station, you're like, they have a containment unit in the basement, and they're like, you could break the containment unit, and I was like, no, I simply could not. I will just scare all of these Ghostbreakers away. That is all I will do.
I mean, it's actually pretty easy to do that. It's like a 2-step process. You have to use a ghost on the first level to use an electronics base power to like black out the system. While that's blacked out, you bring a different electronics ghost downstairs, and when like attach it to an electronics based thing and have it do another blackout and then you've done it.
Sure. I just did not do it.
That's so fair.
I do like the wards, though. I think the wards are an interesting introduction to the gameplay, because they stop you from binding a ghost if there's a ward present, and you've got to find a way to fry it out. And I do think that that's a good evolution for Act 3.
Mm-hmm. And also very important is if a ghost is in a warded area and the wards come back up, you cannot bench them if the ward is up either.
Right.
So if they get trapped behind enemy lines, you have to be very careful, or else they'll just get exercised.
Right. Well, in the Act 3 finale, we return to the hospital for the mission What Lies Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where Dr. Krauss has bound the Darkling, using patients driven mad on the upper floors. Upper floors, Tyler. In order to free the Darkling, we must arrange for 5 patients to be released from the upper floors, but all the cells are completely warded off. The cells can be opened by possessing mortals or increasing their madness to full, but one of the bound inmates is unconscious and can only be moved through possession, which is very difficult with the wards in place. There are a few solutions to the problem, from striking the hospital with lightning to using a relay of mobile fetters to reach the inmate. Upon completing the task, the Darkling is finally free and joins your cause. This originally was the final level of the game, with a cliffhanger cutscene playing afterward that teased a sequel.
Which never happened.
Right. We'll get to that.
Right.
This was difficult. This one, I quit. I restarted this level a lot with different ghosts to try to get to what I was trying to do.
Yeah, this is so hard. This is really hard. Not fun.
I like that you can control the Darkling, and he has this like hypnotic thing that calls all the mortars upstairs. Finally, some like good mortal movement upstairs. But then there's this unconscious motherfucker, and that's what maybe kept quitting and restarting. I could get 4 of them, but I could not get the 5th.
Consciousness is such a fucking killjoy with these ghosts.
Yeah,
man.
for real.
And in real life,
I said
too.
it at the very start. Yeah, true. I said it at the very start. If I put a ghost, they're asleep, it didn't do anything. And you know what? One time I woke up after seeing Paranormal Activity, and I had a picture frame that fell while I was asleep, and I was just like, well, that woke me up. But then I told the ghost to fuck off because I was tired. So maybe that's actually what's happening.
Well, you know what? What I learned from those Paranormal Activities movies is that ghosts hate being video recorded. So you were probably okay, Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. If I had pulled up my iPhone 2 or whatever that we were at that point, then and turned on the camera button, then I probably would have.
They would have killed you.
There would be 2 people hosted Fear Coded right now. You know what I mean? But wait. Free downloadable content was created to give the game a more satisfying conclusion. In an epilogue level, your old foes, the Ghostbreakers, have installed an ether bomb in your headquarters that will destroy all ghosts. And they have set up multiple different wards that must be disabled to even reach the bomb. But destroying the bomb is just the beginning. After the player has done so, the Stay Cool Ice Cream Man, which is legally distinct from the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, has arrived to attack your headquarters and prevent you from dealing with the remaining Ghostbreakers. He must be dealt with quickly, or all of your ghosts will be exorcised. Having successfully run off the Ghostbreakers from your headquarters, all your missions are complete.
So I actually found the epilogue to be a lot more fun than the last half of the game. I thought the wards were really well designed in a beautiful cascading pattern where you could get one and that opened up opportunities to get the next one, which opened up opportunities to get the next one. It was a solidly designed level. I think the Ghostbreakers all have fun names. It's obviously a reference to the Ghostbusters. The summoning of the Stay Cool Ice Cream Man is stupid, but threatening. And because he's made of ice, I knew I could deal with him with fire ghosts, which I had. It all just sort of clicked in the right way. This was a very, very nice ending.
Yeah. I just, the first time I played this all those years ago when I was like, oh my God, it's Ghostmaster. I can play it again, even though I don't have the game disc anymore. And I bought it and saw this whole new extra level. The amount of glee and joy that I felt, truly, honestly, still unmatched. And it's so much fun to still play this level. I really do think it's one of the best in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked fun.
Oh, poor Tyler.
If what you're describing had just been there for like the rest of the game, different story. Because that sounds like a good use of like puzzle solution stuff, and by that point you know how to play the game because it's the end.
Right?
But unfortunately, it wasn't like that.
I do think that like the last level before this is just simply too hard. Still,
Agreed. And so
this feels like a nice treat for you that they added after realizing, okay, we're never getting a sequel, but we do have the opportunity to make a DLC.
Agreed. Now, I didn't mess with any of the extra levels that were made with the remaster. Marilee, did you?
I haven't gotten
further?
around to them yet,
Okay.
but I did buy them all. So
Okay,
I
great.
got the season pass. I'm very excited for more Ghostmaster in my life. I understand and respect that, like, maybe not the greatest game in the world. I genuinely still love it. So I'm very excited to dive into those. I only finished the final level of this game about 2 hours ago. So
Oh, wow. Oh, well, some of us were on our Hades 2 runs 2 hours ago. So I finished this baby a little while ago.
I love and trust. Well, you did. You were doing the notes, so you had to finish it a
I
little
had to.
earlier.
Yeah,
But
I
just
had to.
also, how's Hades 2? How's my
Wonderful. I'm almost platinumed at Marilee. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I still got to play the first
Very
one.
good.
I did start playing it, and then I fell off because of the ADHD
And
brain.
That's
all the
overall.
tabletop games. All the
yeah.
tabletop games, Tyler.
And all these tabletop games. Also, the Diablo 4 final expansion is out, so
Yeah.
I've been playing that and having a lot of fun. And we just got Tomodachi Life,
Gag.
which is a
Gag.
blast.
It's the stupidest game ever. It's incredible. I love it. It's perfect.
I'm so happy for you.
It is perfect. Well, we're not talking about Hades 2, Diablo 4, or Tomodachi Life. Instead, we just spent an hour and 22 minutes, more or less, talking about Ghostmaster. So how did we feel about Ghostmaster in terms of horror or queerness after our conversation? And do you have any other final thoughts for the episode?
I definitely think the horror aesthetic is there, and it works. I think the ghosts are a little cute. I don't think that they're particularly scary. The queerness was a little hard to find, and this game essentially ended the career of the director and a few of the game developers. So, oops. Here's the deal: is there are people like Marilee who adore this game, and that's what this strategy company does. Is they find these loved games where the developers sold off the rights for the game because it like killed their studios, and that's awesome. And I think that everything this company remasters is akin to that, and I am glad I have played one of them.
See, I really love that because I think that's a very rare story when it comes to game remasters in this era, because a lot of these companies will get successful off of like, okay, we remastered a beloved classic, and maybe we can do a second one, but then the money starts to dry up because not a whole lot of people are buying a beloved niche classic RPG or RTS or whatever else. And so they end up getting bought by like a big megacorp, and then they just kind of sit on the IPs for a while, which is what happened with Embracer and Asper Group, because they were like reviving like the Star Wars games from like our childhoods, and then they ended up getting locked in some sort of legal limbo because the CEO of Embracer Group is a fucking nut job. So I'm glad this company exists. I hope they continue to do this unimpeded, because even though this game was not for me, I'm just one guy. If you're listening to this, or you're just like, actually, this sounds like a fun game, and you're like on the Merrily camp, I highly encourage you to go play it. Like, I think the reason we can enjoy art in video games for as long as we can is because there are people who are essentially circulating the tapes. And, you know, without being able to do this, without being able to revive some of these games for more modern consoles or PCs or whatever, then they end up disappearing. And that's not even getting into the work of just fans who keep these games alive for decades through patches and like homemade patches, and passing this information along. Discord conversations, Reddit conversations, go deep into the forums of yesteryear conversations. And I think that makes me really happy, and it makes me really optimistic about like game preservation from a like community-based perspective. Unfortunately, the big corpos try and take that away from us, but I think it is cool and kind of punk rock that we can still enjoy old games like this, and you can play it if you want to. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think if you like what we talked about, even if it wasn't totally our bag, I would encourage you to try it. And then if you like Halloween, if you're just like a Halloween girly and you like the pastel goth and everything else, give it a shot. You might enjoy it.
I really, this game was so nostalgic for me, just like replaying it, because again, I played this when I was a kid and I really loved it. When I could play it again as like an adult, like, and I say this, it was been over a decade since I bought it like digitally for the first time. So it's nostalgic for a different point in my life. It was so much fun to revisit it. I love this company that's just doing this, and I hope that the remaster can get in a whole bunch of new crowd. Truly, I feel like the dream would be if somebody else like remade the like game using a more modern display system, so that people like it could be played in a way that's more similar to other games of today, like a full or like remake instead of just a remaster. But if we never got that, even still, this is enough for me, and I really loved it. Thank you guys for going along this journey with me, and thank you to the patrons who voted for this game off of nothing but my word of, hey, this is a game I liked.
I mean, that's pretty good incentive.
Yeah, truly. That means, you know what? Our patrons love you, Merrily.
Well, I love them too.
Yay.
Well, thank you all so much for listening to this episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And you don't have to spend golden pumpkins to deepen your ghostly powers. Simply follow Fear Coded on Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky at Fear Coded Pod.
And if you would like to be one of the patrons who voted on episodes just like this one, you can support the podcast and join the Bats on our Belfry by subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/fearcodedpodcast. You can show your appreciation at one of 3 levels. Early and ad-free episodes are available as low as $1 a month, and there is accompanying bonus content starting at the $3 level.
Fear Coded is a proud part of the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective. If you'd like to listen to more queer media podcasts, check out our full roster of shows at glitterjaw.com and now on YouTube.
Join us next time as we celebrate Pride Month with queer created horror, and we'll start by grabbing our dream jobs at an amusement park as we discuss the animated horror comedy TV series Dead End Paranormal Park. But for now, we will simply say goodbye.
Bye.